Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane insists the dismissal of her former COO was above board, but Basani Baloyi says Mkhwebane abused her powers by targeting certain individuals for alleged political gain. Baloyi says she was dismissed for bringing the matter up and wants a court to back her and get her back in that job. Govan Wichels is following the story for us. He joins us now live. So Govan, a long day in court. What were the arguments?
Well, the arguments were about whether or not the Constitution was upheld, but also the technicalities around the dismissal of the former Chief Operations Officer at the Public Protector's Office, Ms. Basani Baloyi. And I'm joined by her now, Shahan. Let's get straight into it, discussing some of these issues. Ms. Baloyi, thank you so much for joining us. First of all, you've said that the Public Protector has abused her office. What was it about her style of leadership or her actions while you were the Chief Operations Officer that makes you believe she abused her office?
Thank you very much. We have presented our case very well about, how, the operations in the office were handled. And I think the presentation on all my submissions about even how other matters and how the people that I work with have been handled, it's a clear indication of the type of leadership that, that office is subjected to. So we have presented our case quite well in terms of how the investigations have been run, how, the management of staff is concerned, and also how performance is also managed in that particular office, which gives a clear overview as to what kind of a culture exists in that kind of an environment.
And which kind of culture is that specifically? Your submissions have an underlying theme that the Public Protector has used the office towards a political end. But if I could ask it more directly, do you believe that there was a nefarious agenda on the part of the Public Protector, or which agenda was she serving?
It is very clear from our documents and her responses that she was very vague. She did not respond directly to all the allegations. Is that at the end of the day, if she responded to all allegations, everyone would be very clear. But her evasive, answers, gives a clear indication that there's something to hide.
You've said that the Public Protector was targeting essentially the President, the Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan, even Robert McBride. Why do you say that?
When you look at our presentation, we said that, when I started there, I was supposed to deal with all the urgent matters. And we have presented that, the EMIR cases were not only of those three or of those two, the President and Minister Gordhan, but we also had other ministers, cases that were pending. So for her to say that, those cases could have been finalized within 30 days, meanwhile, there are those that have been reported, especially the one of the sitting deputy president, around 2014, which did not receive priority as the McBride, then raises some eyebrows.
What's your response to the assertion that during your tenure as the Chief Operations Officer, you performed at below the expectation of the Public Protector's Office?
That on its own, it's a fair indication that, from the beginning, I inherited an organization, or I inherited also a branch that did not have system. I mean, for 1 in 6 weeks to close more than 200 cases, 200 investigation cases on its own speaks volumes. I've never had, all investigators in one room dealing with all the matters. And I've set up systems now on how to account for most of the work that has been done. And my experience and my career record speaks for itself. Even the employees in that organization are very much cognizant of what I've done and what is it that I have done to improve on their performance. Even the first quarter performance report, which falls within the probationary period of my term, we have exceeded our targets. By the second quarter, that is the end of September of the financial year, we have exceeded the annual targets, and none of my predecessors have actually achieved what I've achieved today.
Right. I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much. That's the former Chief Operations Officer at the Public Protector's Office, Basani Baloyi, talking to us about her tenure at the Public Protector's Office. And Shahan, today's legal battle between Advocate Stalin Pofu and Advocate Tembeka Ngukaitobi was certainly one for the record books, and it will be a tough decision for the judge to make here. Judge Tefo has reserved reserved judgment, and that should be coming in the next few days or weeks.
All right, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Govan Whittles following that story forward. That's it.